What were the hardest decisions that you watched President Biden make during your time as Chief of Staff?
Well, I think that was one of them, certainly. I watched him interact with Senator Manchin repeatedly on our legislative agenda, which were difficult negotiations, and the President handled them masterfully. And I watched him interact with Senator McConnell repeatedly on questions about the debt ceiling and government financing. And so those were also difficult negotiations.
Mr. Klain, turning back to this memo, it says from senior advisors. Based on your testimony, I'm assuming you're one of the senior advisors. Who are the other drafters of this memo?
I don't recall specifically who else drafted the memo. I think it would have certainly been reviewed by Ms. Dunn and by Jennifer O'Malley Dillon, who was running the campaign, and perhaps by others as well.
Would Mr. Zients have been involved in this decision?
He would have certainly been involved, but whether he helped draft the memo, I'm not sure.
And then you said that you were a big advocate for an early debate to try to put voters' questions about age to rest. Did Ms. Dunn and Ms. Dillon agree with the early debate advocacy?
Yes, that's my recollection. Yes.
To your knowledge, for the same reasons as yourself?
Yes.
Were there any advisors advocating against an early debate?
Not that I recall, no.
Were there any advisors advocating against a debate, period?
Not that I recall, no.
Did the special counsel, her report, change any of your calculations?
It did not change my calculations. Obviously, I think the political ramifications from her report might have further reinforced my view that, given that it added to the discussion about the president's age, we should take steps to try to abate those concerns, and I thought the debate would be one of those steps.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so the logic on this doesn't line up very well, does it? He was talking about doing the debate a little bit early, June 27th, I do believe, instead of in like September or October. So the American people had concerns about Joe Biden's age, which translated to his cognitive capabilities, right? Because we saw Joe Biden, we saw the cheap fakes, if you will, of Joe Biden actually stumbling and fumbling and bumbling over every single word that he said, over, shaking hands with ghosts and all of these other things, falling off of bikes and whatnot. So to dissuade people of their concerns, he decides we're going to do a debate early because the American people are concerned with his cognitive capabilities, for crying out loud. Where's the logic in that? We're going to do a debate, or like, it doesn't matter when the debate comes, does it, my dude? But we're going to get into all this, y'all. So y'all do me a favor, smash that like button for me, subscribe if you're new around here, share this video anywhere and everywhere you can, click that join button, sign up, and become a member. That is the best way to help this channel expand and grow. But without any further ado, folks, here is the rest of the story.
Thank you.
Was the number one issue in the campaign the president's fitness or his age?
I believe it was his age.
How would a early debate change voters' view of his age? He would be younger because there was a debate earlier, right? I mean, a couple days, a couple weeks, but I'm not following. Could you explain?
Yes. I think that his age became a bit of a surrogate for his capabilities to serve another 4 years. And I thought that him performing robustly against Mr. Trump in a debate would show voters that he had the fight and feist to continue to serve as president for 4 more years. And so, it's hard to know when voters say age is a concern what exactly they have in mind. They're not writing essays, they're just responding to poll questions. And so, I think related to age is vitality. And I thought that when we know that concern ebbed shortly after the State of the Union, when they saw the president giving a vital, energetic address before Congress, and I thought that a good debate performance would serve the same purpose.
You've said, a lot of people have said, Joe Biden has said, that his debate performance was not good and he had a bad night. Were there other bad nights similar to his debate performance that you recall?
No, certainly not like that I recall.
The debate occurred on June 27th, 2024, correct?
Yes,
You spent the week prior to the debate at Camp David, correct?
yes,
You were helping prepare President Biden for the debate.
yes, I
correct?
was.
During that week, did President Biden demonstrate any of the actions or symptoms of what was happening on the debate stage on June 27th?
Well, the practice did not go well. It was not quite as bad as the actual debate, but he was clearly had not reviewed his materials for the debate before we got to that week at Camp David, and he was not fluent in the arguments of the campaign.
What materials should President Biden have reviewed that he did not?
Well, typically for any debate, his advisors would prepare sample answers that reflected things he had said previously, but reduced to the style and format of a debate, which had required timed answers. And there were cards that had those answers drafted on them, and it was pretty clear to me he had not reviewed those cards.
Who else was at Camp David for the entirety of the week before the debate?
Bruce Reed, the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, and Mike Donilon, his senior advisor.
Did anyone else flow in and out?
Yes, a number of other campaign aides and White House aides made briefer visits to Camp David during that period.
Steve Ricchetti,
Yes, I believe so.
Mr. Zients,
I'm not sure if Jeff ever came or not. I don't recall specifically.
Jake Sullivan,
I don't recall.
Anita Dunn,
Yes,
Anthony Bernal,
not that I recall, no.
Annie Tomasini,
Yes,
Neera Tanden,
I believe Neera was there briefly, but I'm not certain.
Ashley Williams,
I don't recall.
Karine Jean-Pierre.
I don't believe she was there at all.
Did any members of Congress participate in debate prep?
Not that I recall, no.
Who played President Trump in debate prep?
Bob Bauer, President's lawyer. He had played President Trump in debate prep in our 2020 preparations as well.
And then you said practice did not go well. It was clear he did not review the materials. Is your meaning behind that he did not have a grasp of the facts and circumstances in the materials, or were there similar kind of missteps that you saw on the debate stage?
What I mean by that is that President Biden, as has been widely reported, had a stutter as a child and managed that stutter through his political career. And one way he managed that stutter was by marking up materials he was going to deliver, speeches, remarks, with backward slashes to note what should be a single phrase. I think it's a common tactic taught to stutterers to try to manage their stutter. And so if President Biden had been through material he intended to deliver, the slashes would be all over the material. And when I looked at the cards, there were no slashes, which said to me that he had not reviewed it.
And beyond that, I mean, on the debate stage, which we'll get into more, he made factual mistakes, like saying that no troops died during his tenure in foreign wars. Was he making similar mistakes like that during prep?
Not that I recall, no. But what I'd say is I think what he meant by that was that he had ended the war in Afghanistan, and while obviously we had lost 13 members of the armed services as part of the withdrawal, there are since then no further troops unlike prior presidents, where this war in Afghanistan had been going on for 25 years or 20 years or whatever it was. We've suffered no further casualties.
Do you think that's what he meant, or you think that he forgot?
I think that's what he meant.
He made another statement during the debate it was along the lines of "we beat Medicare" or Medicaid. I don't remember which one. Did he make mistakes like that during prep?
The president sometimes would swap proper nouns for other proper nouns, and I think what he meant by that was we defeated Big Pharma, which is a statement he often made on the campaign trail. And he defeated Big Pharma by allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices. So I think he just gobbled two sentences in a way that was inaccurate.
The president used to switch proper nouns. That seems significant. How often would that occur?
I would say the president's many strengths. He often would confuse names. Was not a strength. I understand it's a weird tactic tool for a politician to be bad on names and faces, but he would often say get someone's name wrong, and I just think it was one of his weaknesses as a politician.
Do you think it got worse as you knew him?
Yes.
Two-ish more. During debate prep, did you ever hear anyone say that you were, quote, grading Biden on a curve?
I did not, no. Nor did I grade the president. Mr. Murphy, did I grade the president at all?
And then a kind of logistical question. Outside of the president and the chief of staff, you have to be invited to Camp David. Is that correct?
That is correct, to the best of my knowledge, yes.
And the president or chief of staff has to sign off on the invitation?
I believe so, yes.
In your tenure, did you ever sign off on an invitation for the vice president?
I never signed off on any invitations to Camp David.
Did the vice president ever visit Camp David during your tenure?
I do not know.
You provided Chris Whipple material for his book. It's titled Uncharted: How Trump Beat Biden, Harris, and the Odds in the Wildest Campaign in History. I'm just going to refer to it as Uncharted for this interview. Is it correct that you provided material for Mr. Whipple?
I was interviewed by Mr. Whipple, yes.
Did you provide material for Mr. Jake Tapper or Alex Thompson for their book, Original Sin?
I met with Mr. Tapper once, yes.
Did you speak with Josh Dawsey, Tyler Pager, Isaac Arnsdorf for their book, 2024?
I had a brief exchange with Mr. Pager, but not the others, as best I recall.
Have you talked to Karine Jean-Pierre for her book?
Not for her book specifically. I know Karine, of course. I've had conversations with Karine. Karine used to work for me at the White House, but I did not sit for an interview for her book, no.
What motivated you to sit down with these authors, these journalists, to speak about your time in the White House and afterwards?
Well, Mr. Whipple had written an earlier book about the first 2 years of the Biden presidency, and the president had directed us to cooperate with Mr. Whipple for that book, and so I did. I was interviewed by him extensively for his first book, got to know Chris, and so when Chris said he was going to write a book about the campaign, I thought it was appropriate for me to cooperate with him. And Mr. Tapper I've known for more than 25 years, and thought I would answer his questions. So, I don't know, it just seemed like the right thing to do.
Okay, folks, so this is absolutely unbelievable stuff right here. So he's basically going over the debate prep and all this other nonsense, and he's talking about how Joe Biden, well, he didn't prep properly. He didn't go over the cue cards and all this other nonsense. It's like, what are you talking about, my dude? Like, seriously. You couldn't prep the dude, and he's showing signs of dementia while you're going through this prep. He was having trouble remembering things. He was having trouble getting the names correct for certain things, like, oh, Big Pharma. That's what he meant to say. He meant to say, we beat Big Pharma, but he said Medicare. Oh, yeah. And as Donald Trump said,
if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicaid, beat it to death.
yeah, folks, no, I'm sorry. He was showing the signs in the debate prep that he wasn't ready for this, that his cognition is absolutely not functioning properly, if you will. And these people just pushed him forward anyway. They said, well, this will be a good sign to the American people that Joe Biden can do the job. As a matter of fact, he's currently doing the job. So there's the proof that he can do the job for another 4 years. Like, what? What are you talking about, dude? These people are absurd, y'all. They really are. And once again, I would love to get to the bottom to try to figure out of who was actually in charge during Joe Biden's tenure. Because it clearly wasn't Joe Biden. Right? You people can get out there and say all you want about the man was sharp and he was intensely probing and all this other nonsense, and that he had an IQ of over 9,000 and blah, 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 blah. But we don't believe you at this point. I mean, we know the end result of this inquiry right here. They pretty much voided out all of the pardons that Joe Biden gave that he signed with AutoPen. Now they're going to be going back and looking over executive orders and all kinds of other nonsense because Joe Biden clearly wasn't all with it. He wasn't aware of what he was doing. Clearly, he wasn't aware of what he was doing. These people saw signs of this during the debate prep, and they did nothing, folks. They pushed him out there on that stage anyway. Like, I've heard the accusation from people talking about, well, this is elder abuse. And I didn't want to buy into that, right? I really didn't. I was like, well, it's Joe's decision to keep doing this. But, as we look closer and we look more into this, and I'm getting testimony from all these people, I'm starting to jump over that fence at this point to where I'm starting to think, yes, this absolutely was elder abuse. These people were using Joe Biden as a puppet to get whatever they wanted done, to put themselves in positions of power so they could absolutely take advantage of that power and just, I don't know, do untoward things. Because once again, folks, we know what the Biden administration committed on this country. And it wasn't good. A lot of it was really bad. I mean, ignoring Supreme Court orders, all kinds of nonsense, right? Silencing voices online, flinging the doors open, or, the gates to the southern border just wide open and letting anybody and everybody come in. Perverting the parole process, like giving everybody asylum status, for crying out loud. Anybody that come across that southern border and encountered Border Patrol, those people would become asylees. And then they would get a check. They would get food stamps, welfare, hotel room, whatever they wanted, right? Get a work permit, get your social security number, and as a matter of fact, because of how certain states operate, you get that social security number and you go to the DMV, they're going to register you to vote when you get an ID, folks. So there's no telling how many criminal aliens are actually registered to vote in this country, and I find that absurd. These people just had their agenda, this far leftist agenda that they wanted to complete, and they damn near did it, folks. They damn near did it. 15 million criminal aliens come into this country under the Biden administration alone. That's 4 years. If you go and look at the historical records, that is bar none, the largest mass migration in American or in world history, as a matter of fact. That is absurd. That was intentional under the Biden administration. So, once again, was Joe Biden in charge? Because it wasn't that long previous to Joe Biden's presidency that he was touting border security and, going after companies that hire criminal aliens with criminal charges, going after these companies, as a matter of fact. And now, all of a sudden, all of these views just change on a dime to where, yeah, we want to give subsidies to these companies that are hiring criminal aliens. We want to incentivize this type of activity. It's all nonsense, folks. It really is. They just, we'll never really know the extent of the damage that was done to this country under the Biden administration just with the border alone. Not to mention, you know, all of the silencing of voices, the violations of the First Amendment and all this other crap. You know, good thing they didn't get any gun legislation approved. Well, they kind of did a little bit here and there, but nothing major. And thank goodness we still have our Second Amendment rights. Of course, most anything would be struck down by the Supreme Court at this point. So, you know, I'm glad we have a Supreme Court, have that bumper guard for rogue administrations like the Biden administration. You know, they love to tout Donald Trump being a dictator and all this other nonsense. Oh, he's an evil guy. As a matter of fact, my next video, we're going to be talking about some Democratic lawmakers that actually made a video telling service members that you can refuse to follow illegal orders. That's right. We don't want you to do that. Like, wait, hang on just a second. Why would this message even be out there? This would be like, I don't know, let's say you're a person that never speeds. You don't like speeding. You like going slow. You like taking it easy. And you don't like speeding whatsoever. And, you know, somebody coming up to you and telling you that you can't speed, you should never speed. Speeding is a very bad thing. You should never do it. It's kind of the same thing. Like, wait, I don't speed. What are you talking about? I never speed. It's ridiculous. Like, who said that the service members were getting illegal orders, by the way? Show me one. You know, like, why would you put out this message? It's seditious. We know that the game that they're trying to play here. Once again, if we look to even just the Epstein files, every accusation is a confession. Democrats got on their soapbox and started yelling at the top of their freaking lungs about Trump and Epstein because there were some pictures taken and Trump used to be acquainted with this guy. They were friends, right? And Democrats are yelling, screaming, gnashing their teeth about, oh, this is corrupt. And look at this email that happens to mention Trump. And it's so cryptic, we can't decipher any of it. And we have no idea what it actually means. But yet Democrats get on national television and say, this is a smoking gun. Donald Trump is guilty of untoward behavior with underage girls on Little St. James Island or whatever it was, right? Like, none of this makes any sense, right? So they're yelling all this stuff, and then we look, we start getting some of these files coming out, and hang on just a second. Democrats are actually implicated in some of this nonsense, right? Like they had many, many ties to Jeffrey Epstein. There were many Democratic lawmakers that were getting money from, like donations from Jeffrey Epstein personally. And then they want to talk about Trump being tied to Jeffrey Epstein? Like, holy crap. But this right here, folks, like, this is one of the biggest scandals in American history, I believe, that is not being reported on by the corporate press. They just don't want to talk about this. Like, this is one reason why I'm covering this. This is like once-in-a-lifetime type of stuff here, and I want to make sure and document every single bit of it, because this is so scandalous. Like, I can't compare it to anything, really, because there's nothing really to compare it to. Like, anything in the modern day, at least. So, I mean, that's basically why I'm covering this, is because we don't have anything to compare it to, because we've never had staffers for a president actually push this old man out here knowing that he's senile and then lying to everybody about it, saying, oh, well, no. When the cameras are turned off, he's a dynamo in the background. Like, he's just moving all around, and he's so sharp and inquisitive, and he wants to know everything about everybody all the time, and he has all this great wealth of knowledge and all this other nonsense, and they're trying to make you believe that Joe Biden is up for the job when we can clearly see that he's not. Clearly see that he's not. And it's just blatantly absurd. All of it's absurd. This whole thing is absurd. Gets me going in the morning. That's for damn sure. Like, gets me up and pumped, because these people are just so blatantly lying that it's like, come on, guys. Like, how about you go back and watch this video or something? Because it's clear to everybody that you're lying about this. But hey, you know, it is what it is. You guys form your own opinion and let me know about that down in the comments section. I think that's all I got on this one, y'all. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Click the join button. Sign up and become a member. That is the best way to help this channel expand and grow. But It's the end of the video. So you guys remember one thing, that look, Jesus died on the cross for us, to save us, to give us eternal life in heaven. We must be grateful for that, folks. We must be grateful and understand that God has a plan for all of us, and he loves each and every one of you out there. So you guys try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.